Today, we are being challenged to examine who or what is the master of our lives. In our first reading, St. Paul describes two contrasting individuals, one who is a slave to sin, and the other is a servant of God. Paul describes the person who is a slave to the law and therefore a slave to sin. Now let me make sure that I tell you this. In this particular case, we're talking about the law of 2,000 years ago. It is only with the coming of Jesus and his obedience to his Father that we have been set free from sin and free from the slavery of the law. Yet, that does not mean we are free to reign, to do whatever we want. We are called to be obedient servants of God through our service to others. Now, if we look at our gospel, which is the passage that I just read to you, Jesus desires that his disciples, the apostles, be vigilant and prepared for whatever comes their way. They must be like good servants who do the will of the master, even when the master is gone away for a while. The unfaithful servant only performs selfish acts in the absence of the master. For example, let's say Mom and Dad are not home, and it is time then to put the homework away, play video games, eat all the candy in the house, and tease my younger sister and younger brother. No, it isn't. Because Mom and Dad, or in this case, we would refer to them as the masters of the house, will come at a time when the unfaithful servants will not be expecting. The good servant is always living and acting as if the master is about to return at any moment, always acting good. In the second half of today's gospel, Jesus describes how we will be held accountable. In other words, how will we be dealt with because of our actions? Those to whom much has been given will be held more responsible for their use or misuse of the gifts given to them by their master. Our response to all the gifts which God has blessed us should be to live as a faithful servant. There's a big difference between a servant and a slave. A slave is one who is forced to do what the master wants, and so when the master is away, the slave does not work and just lays around doing nothing. A servant of God chooses to be of service to that master always. Those who have fallen under the control of sin or of worldly ways will be forced to do things against their desires because they are slaves of the wicked, and the controlling masters have been raised over them. They are trapped by their own circumstances. St. Paul tells us, and all who have accepted Jesus and are free from the bondage of sin and to worldly ways, he tells us to be faithful servants of Jesus. Service should be the hallmark of our lives. We serve Jesus by serving others. Let me just repeat that, just in case you didn't hear it. We serve Jesus by serving others. Look at our lives and see who or what is in control of them. Are we free to live the life which God intends for us to do? Or have we sold out to our bad habits? Are all our waking moments overwhelmed with the false promises of those bad habits? Are we wrapped up in our desire for wealth, for power, for pleasure, and for fame? Are we slaves to our passions? When we let go of these desires, we will experience the freedom which comes from being a servant of Jesus. Serving others and helping those who need our caring is very liberating for us. True freedom is a gift from God, given to us by Jesus through his obedience to his Father. Our response to our freedom is to let others experience that same freedom by serving them.